This is KDXI St. George, Radio St. George at 100.3 FM. Creator of Energy Healing by Design, Nicole-Ashton, a world-renowned healer and luminary whose life after death experience has allowed her the gift of empowering people around the globe to heal and grow into their true authentic space. Nicole, with her natural connection to Source, which has remained open since her return, will help you and your family find the frequency of gratitude and patient love that will assist you in awakening your soul's design. We now welcome you to Return to Consciousness with your host, Nicole.
Hello, all you beautiful people, and welcome back to another episode of Return to Consciousness, live with Nicole, April, and special guest, Will Miller. This week, we really left it for an open conversation, really set no topic. We have kind of put a map of intent for the show, which is we'll have conversation in the beginning. The second half, we'll have a small meditation, and then the phones are open to Q&A and online live healings. Many of my clients have asked for upgrades or energy boosts, or they have questions after their sessions with me. And so this is the perfect outlet that if you are seeking a session and you have a question about me or April or Will, this is the perfect outlet to ask those questions and kind of see if one of us fit as a mentor or a coach or a guide. And also the small healings or the callers that we will be taking in are those that have the questions, but also if you have some element of disharmony in your body, or you're spiritually feeling unaligned, or you just need a quick boost or upgrade, then we would invite you to call in on the second half. And as we work through a meditation and then open the calls up, how that works is it will move right into your healing. So you can receive a healing, and then we'll also open lines for Q&A. So I invite you to call at about 4:35, the number 435-879-4100. And there's only like 2 calls available at the end of each show. So have your hand on that dial. So I'm Nicole Ashton, and you can reach me at energyhealingbydesign.com. And you are?
April Betty at handshealinghearts.com.
And Will Miller at liveawaregroup.org.
And let's talk about appreciation, just because I want to share right now appreciation for each of the callers and each of the viewers and listeners that love and support every single week. And there is an outlet on the bottom underneath the drop boxes. You can ask questions and we answer them later. We don't really have access to Facebook to answer them right now, but we jump back on and we can answer them for you at a later time. And then you can either email us or, again, call in, because there's these questions that people have about energy healing, about their selves, about their alignment, and sometimes a question that you have, somebody else is thinking it, feeling it, and they don't know how to ask it, or they don't dare. And you don't have to share your name when you call in, but just imagine the possibilities that by sharing a question, by sharing a story, by opening and being brave and opening up the lines to people healing and calling in and really accelerating in communication, because everyone's welcome here. We have created the spiritual guided radio so that people in any state, anywhere they're at on their journey, their spiritual journey, their awakening, their life, are welcome to call in. And so I'm in appreciation for you, too, for showing up each week and volunteering your time to assist these beautiful callers. And so thank you.
We appreciate you showing up. We wouldn't be here if you weren't here. That's your show.
Well, I live for this. I live for, as we all know, I have an unfailing love for humans and this design and this. I mean, I died and I came back just to feel the excitement of living. And I think my biggest fear is probably it's not dying. It's not living while I'm alive.
Mm-hmm.
Wow, that was just that random. Random. Maybe somebody needed that out there. I'm not sure, but that just flew out like butter. What about you guys?
I think most people would feel the same way if they really understand what we're here for, right? So we're here to live. We're here to experience. We're here to have joy and not happiness, which is just a byproduct of things we do, but joy, which is a much greater thing to have, which includes happiness along with it, I'm sure.
Because that's I'll be happy if I have this. I'll be happy if I have this job or do this. Or there's kind of seems like an attachment to that, right? So that the word joy to me, like I've said it so many times, is unconditional love in motion. It just happens. That joy factor just hits you and you're smiling, ridiculously smiling, and for no reason at all, yet for all reasons at all. Because you really have, when you're in joy, you don't have any thought of an attachment. You just love yourself. That's where it starts, right?
Well, just like when you say living like you're dead, it's just like you're just in this body and you're just going through the motions and you're repetitively doing the same thing. And like staying in that same stuck place is just the same as being dead, but you're alive. So that could be even worse because you're stuck inside yourself. And so evolving, like evolution, is we're not the same person today as we are tomorrow, and we could change. So like when I say something, somebody may hear me say something different and they may think, well, she's a liar. And I would say she's not a liar. She's just evolving, because if that makes sense. Did it make sense, or was that like way off? Okay. Sometimes I have to make sure I kind of make sense. Oh, well, then you could hang around all the time. You'll be doing a lot of fixing. Are you sure?
As people are shifting and moving, and their reality that they're moving into a purposeful way of being, it seems that that this old paradigm that they used to be functioning in, they used to be making decisions out of and responding out of, has now shifted into like a higher, more profound understanding of themselves. And sometimes their views, their responses, or most of the time, or maybe even all the time, their views and responses will shift from that old paradigm they were a week ago, a month ago, a year ago. And I've witnessed too. Then they're like, people will say, well, you're saying things in a different way now. I'm like, I know, because I have a more profound understanding. You want to join in this happy train, this joy train, and find out the truth of who you are, because my truth isn't the same as yours. And, we have had a show on that. But there is that I guess core feeling of shifting inside yourself is uncomfortable to some people, right? Is that what it was understanding you, right?
Oh, maybe. Yeah. Like I was just saying, like if you stay in one place too long, it's like you're dead and you could just be dead inside. But when you evolve, you'll just keep like getting better or becoming more who you are without. Yeah, I like when you talk about the old paradigm, because it makes me think of like some decisions I may have made 10 years ago were more in a fear-based paradigm of thinking, where now it's like, that's ridiculous. I even would have even cared to think about that. Like, what a stupid fear. Like, are you kidding me that I used to believe this? But if you're brought up a certain way, it's repetitive in your head. And so you have to like literally be so uncomfortable that then it's comfortable again, because it's just, well, I'm not going to go do that. Why would I go do that? It doesn't even make sense. But when I was doing that, it completely made sense. So we just change for the better usually.
And kindness matters to yourself right there, because kindness in those shifts and realizing that and giving yourself permission to shift, to change, to have a different idea and to go with it. And sometimes you fall back into those old patterns. And it's like the quicker that you realize, wow, that didn't work before, there's no way it's going to work again. And instead of feeling bad, beating yourself up, I encourage you to sit with yourself and really see where you were at when you began this journey, or whatever paradigm that you're comparing to at that time.
We're all taught and conditioned to think and act and feel a certain way, right? And we all come from a different background, have a different story to tell, and we live by our different stories. My story is not the same as your story. And we talk about these old paradigms, but really people are just living in their past. They wake up every day living the same day as they did yesterday and the day before, and thinking the same thoughts, doing the same things, going through the same routine. And that's what you're talking about. I always tell people the unknown is the only place you can grow, because what you already know, you're there.
Mm-hmm.
So I love connecting to the divine matrix or divine source or whatever you want to call it, because that's where the unknown is.
Yeah.
And that's the only place you can find out something new for yourself, or get guidance, or have an epiphany, or learn something new, or be inspired to read a book, or anything else that comes new has to come from that unknown. And then we get our new awareness, right? And then we get to grow, and then there's really no going back.
Exactly.
You can never go back to the place you were before, because the past really doesn't exist.
And as you're remembering your design, as you're remembering as you're in that soulful self, as you're in that creatrix, the matrix, whatever. There's so many different words for it I call it just the consciousness, because it's all things moving at once, right? Unconditional love, observation, and motion, and it seems like a more easier word for me to remember. But so then now I just went off on a different thought.
Huh. Welcome to my world.
Yeah, I love the show. When you hit consciousness, guess what? Gaps happen on air. Yes, listen to that. How does that happen through your whole entire life? Every single day, and that's so interesting, because that brings up something else. Is that people are moving through their day and they're just so excited, and they have these lapse of memories, or they just get too much going, and so they forget, and then they're trying to replay all the stuff that they have done, which you get lost in like this circular pattern of nonsense, right? Instead of just dropping it and restarting. Just like that, it seems easier, and that I guess dropping into the knowingness, into that that little piece of you that says, "Hey, it's okay, keep going," because it's gonna go on anyway.
Yeah,
I would practice that through your day when you're get frustrated with things. Frustrated. Did I say that word right? Frustrated with your day, with decisions, with other people. Just stop and take a deep breath, and let everything just kind of go into harmony, into the knowingness. Or the unknowingness.
The unknown.
Yeah,
unknown.
I like the unknown. I like what you say about the unknown. The unknown is the only place to be. I don't want to be in the knowing all the time.
Well, the knowing just means we're living what we've already experienced.
Which to me would be dead, because we already done that.
And I think that was your analogy you were giving
Yeah.
a minute ago. You're the living dead.
See?
In what you know every single day.
I speak English, but you could be my interpreter, because you could interpret. You're really good. Thank you.
Interesting thing about people that repeat a lot of information over and over and over and over again is also, I invite you to sit and listen, because when you're talking, I have to practice this all the time, being a teacher and sharing the same things. I have to always remind myself, Nicole, it's time to sit back and listen to what this person's saying, because you're repeating what you know. If you want to learn something, listen to what isn't making sense to you yet, or you haven't heard yet, and when you have an open heart, you're able to find your truth in what feels good to you in everything, every conversation, even if you have no idea about it. It's quantum physics, it's theology, it's this, it's that. But if you take that time to step into that gap and take what fits, then you get to create what feels good with all of the information, because all of the information has bits and pieces that are your truth, and they all kind of fit somewhere in each other's stuff anyways. So you get to just go into that gap, stop and listen to what to your heart. And I ask my clients when they're having a struggle with truth or what feels good, to tap the top of your head here between your eyes and your heart. That will activate your heart brain and your brain. And you'll have a more cohesive conversation with yourself, because you're the only one that knows your truth.
And that's a good point. I think people get so caught up in what they're thinking. And, we have this active brain. Our brain is an active part of our body. It doesn't control all of our body. Scientifically, someone's heart can keep beating long after they're brain dead. So your heart works independently, has its own set of neurons and everything else. So creating that coherence, I think that's so important for people to understand, is to really make the change, to tap into the unknown, if you will, and to find new ways of being. You need to connect this heart and this brain together, to work together in coherence. in order to grow. So
Yeah.
I think that's an excellent point you bring up there.
And I love that you just brought up being, because that was our last week's conversation. And, I know that there's clients that have called me and told me that they explored their way of being, that they sat with being calm, they sat with being peaceful with being there, and then they got an understanding of what being is to them. And I would love you to share on the next half if you feel inspired. And you don't have to tell your names, share your names if you don't choose to, but we would love for interaction and to really see how this show can snowball and really assisting people in a higher expression of their self.
I think I would like to encourage people to call in too, because a lot of people do not know how to be. Like, a lot of people just don't know how to be. So
They
if
don't
you
know how
could
to be
share.
themselves, right?
Yeah.
They only know what they've been conditioned to be, or they see on TV, I want to be like that person. I want to be like this person, this actor, or I want to be like this president, or like this other person that you have in your life. And we go about trying to find these people to be, rather than just sitting with ourselves for a moment and being true really to our own selves. So many times we don't live in coherence with how we feel and act because we're not being true to ourselves. And, maybe something painful happens to us in our lives, causes us heartache or whatever it happens to be. And, in those moments, it's hard, not to be out of coherence. But, you can give hundreds of examples of your clients, and I can of mine and you of yours, where somebody has come in and puts into practice the coherence and meditation and the practices we all teach to heal themselves maybe from a heartache. And another person with the exact same heartache comes in and doesn't, but they continue to just dwell on the things that have caused them that heartache. Well, they're living in the past. Talk about a living death, right?
Yeah.
What a miserable way to live. So it does come down to what we talked about last week, and really bringing ourselves into coherence, and then practicing it, and finding mentors and help, the right people to help you in your life.
And I can tell you that when I came back from crossing over and I was being in this world, and some things came up to me like create the world you, or create the life you love, Nicole, create the life you love. And I would realize that I was a creator of that. But then there was just not long ago, I'm sitting there, I'm like, what is all of this around me? And then I realized I live in a world that I designed. I designed it. And, I'm in a positive space right now. I can say that. But even stuff that's hitting me, I'm like, I designed it that way. I must have needed a lesson. I must have needed, I'm vibrating, or I'm attracting that experience. What can I do to design it differently? Because this is my design. Like I've shared before, we live in a world designed by somebody else, for somebody else, and we do it because that's all we know. Well, when you realize you're the source of creation, create the life you love. You live in a world that you get to design. Take back that power and do it, because when you do, you will start looking at little pieces around you that you can see that are a direct reflection of how you're showing up. And a lot of people don't like when I say that, because then guess what? You're responsible for what gets to happen from now on. And that is.
But there's also freedom that comes from that, right?
Yeah.
From knowing that. I mean, no one likes to hear it, but there's a freedom that comes from it. The other thing I think is important too is me, you, everybody in this world from time to time needs help. We can't do it all on our own. By the way, everybody out there, I go to Nicole for help. I go to Nicole for a healing from time to time. I need it. I need that help, right? And we all do. And it's hard sometimes for people to admit that, or take that responsibility. They take the responsibility on themselves, but they don't seek the help they need all the time. So.
Well, and too, some people don't know how. And so this is the thing that I have a few people in my circle right now that I'm trying to help them with is, and at the end of the day, it has to come from themselves. So that's a little frustrating. But genuinely, they do not like themselves. And there's quite a few people, they truly do not like themselves.
Well, we love you.
Thank Thank you.
Yeah, we love you. I love you.
I wasn't talking about you. No, like really. And, and it's like, I'm grateful that I'm in a space where I'm able to hear people share and they genuinely feel trust and I don't have judgment when they share. And there are some really dark things and stuff, and it is what it is. And so helping somebody to love themselves, at the end of the day, they have to make that choice. But it does break my heart for the amount of people that I know that genuinely, for reals, they don't like themselves.
I invite you to do little choices a day. Let's make a game of it. Create this space. When people are in this, here's a hand up right now. Look at yourself and give yourself credit for waking up today. Give yourself credit for, tomorrow brush your teeth, because I've been in a state of depression that I didn't want to brush my teeth. Get up, and maybe that's the only thing you do all day, but you did it. Get up the next day, get in the shower. Don't when you're not focused on what you're not doing that day. I should have brushed my teeth. I should have got my hair done. I should have washed my dishes. I should have spent more time with this person, that person. When you're constantly taking that negative checklist, you're going to draw more of that. So I invite you to say, you know what? I got up and I brushed my teeth. I combed my hair. At least I pulled it back, and start making that checklist of what you did do, of what you did do. And then you'll get to see that you are doing it. You're already doing it. So good job.
I had a friend send me a meme today that said, stop making a to-do list and start making a to-fill list. And start thinking about, this is how I want to fill today, as opposed to, here's what I need to get done. A to-do list can be a two-edged sword, right?
Yeah.
So go to a to-fill list. I like that idea.
And I appreciate me list. Because of appreciation, right? I appreciate me.
Or grateful. Right?
Yeah, they're I appreciate me. I am grateful for me. And I don't know, just it that was just random.
Like I could see on the calendar, it's Nicole Day. You know how there's like, oh, it's Cousin's Day. Like they make up an event for every day on calendars, it seems like nowadays. So maybe the next thing we'll see, it's Nicole's Day.
You just make it a Nicole Day every day.
Yeah.
Right.
I'm going to give you a calendar that says that.
Celebrating humanity. So every day is a celebration of life, I think. I appreciate you guys too.
We appreciate you.
So we get a day.
Yeah.
Ah.
See how fun it can just turn into a ball of joy really quickly for no reason. Like we just went randomly into a whole bunch of different conversations and life is about that. It's not about being perfect. It's not about having the perfect topic. It's not about making sure that you push all the buttons so that Sean doesn't get frustrated with you for deleting the show. Just kidding. I just want to say how grateful and appreciative I am to Sean Donovan, who has allowed us this space to grow, because without him, we wouldn't be having this show. And he definitely walks me through a lot of stuff and pushes me he inspires me. That's what I'm going to say. He's inspired me throughout my whole experience of jumping into my uncomfortable. This was really uncomfortable for me, as most know, to get on the air, take over these buttons, do healings, and also try to understand why I was being called to sit in front of this mic. And I know now, because I get the effect that it has on people, like to be able to either listen. They don't have to. A lot don't want to call in, and that is okay. But they're right here in town, and they feel like they have that conversation, because hundreds of people, I'm not able to make those personal texts back and forth. I used to do that, but I just got so much, and so I started getting feedback of how amazing the show is. And then when you add personalities like your guys's to it, that's now there's three of us. That's 3 times the people that we are touching their hearts and giving them an outlet if they choose. And if not, we know that they're listening because they will private message me. And you too. I know that you both have listeners.
Yeah.
So we are so much appreciation of you for listening. And I am Nicole Ashton, and you are?
Will Miller.
You are?
April Betty.
And we'll be right back for the second half.
This week on American Parlor Songbook, we'll head out to the fringes for sketches, songs, and stories about outsiders. I'll tell a story about the weirdest kid in class. Sachet Veneers returns with another signature hard-hitting interview. Nashville singer-songwriter Darren Bradbury brings us his boxcar folk tunes. And Phil Proctor and Jamie Elcroft return with their Boomers on a Bench.
American Parlor Songbook, Sunday evenings at 9 on Radio St. George, 100.3 FM.
Maggleby's, a fine sponsor of the radio program at Dixie State University. Maggleby's Restaurant, for lunch and dinner, and with catering available too. Made with Maggleby's love, at 1450 Hilton Drive in St. George. Maggleby's, a fine sponsor of Radio Dixie and Radio St. George.
On Tuesday, January 28th, from 12 to 12:50 p.m., Dr. Terry Messimer of Utah State University will talk about sagegrass conservation. This will be held in the Dunford Auditorium, Tuesday, January 28th, from 12 to 12:50 p.m. The beautiful music from decades gone by is here. Overnights, we share a calming mix of beautiful music to soothe your soul. Relax overnight with Radio St. George at 100.3 FM. This is Hannah with your Radio Dixie calendar for Wednesday, January 22nd. From 9 a.m. to 12 p.m., there's Hot Chocolate with the Senators in the Outdoor Gardner Plaza. From 4 to 8 p.m., there's Magic the Gathering Weekly Meetup in Smith 108. And from 7 to 9 p.m., it's the Wednesday Activity, live and local music in the Gardner Living Room. And that's your calendar on Radio Dixie 91.3.
Tune into Music 101, Sunday evenings at 7 on Radio St. George, 100.3 FM.
You're listening to Radio St. George 100.3 FM. We now welcome you back to Return to Consciousness with your host, Nicole.
Hello, hello, beautiful people, and welcome back to the second half of Return to Consciousness, live with Nicole.
And April.
And Will.
The second half is geared to the healing aspect. Healing to me is if you have an ache or a pain inside of your body and you've wondered what an energy healer is all about, or you know what they are and you just are curious to call in and see if that pain can be worked on, or if you have a question about connecting to the energy, or let's see, just in the past callers, we have had people with pains. We worked on them right through the meditation, after the meditation, worked on them, and they've had great results. Or some people have wanted to share a healing story. When you do that, it also will collect the energy and help people at that time. Energy healing knows no time or distance. It happens and it shows up for the person that needs it at that time. So if you're listening to this now, or you re-listen to it later, it seems like people always get different versions of, or whatever they need at that time. I feel like you've shared even before that you've listened to a show later, or somebody else did and got a different result.
Yeah, I think so. I'm sure I have shared before. But right now, what I am feeling is like when I came in this room, I had to walk back out and walk back in because I had other people's stuff that was just getting me like a little bit uneasy or whatever. For whatever reason, it was attached. So just by being around people and like hearing voices of someone who is healing, it could also heal you, in my opinion, without you even knowing or directly telling you, hey, I'm having an issue, or like whatever, you need it cleared. So if you do talk to someone who is vibrating higher than you or has healing gifts inside of them, just hearing their voice, no matter what time of the day it is, it can actually calm you down and soothe your soul and perhaps heal you, in my opinion.
And the healing is geared and guided to raising and elevating your energy inside of your body, which we have energy wheels, we have energy cycles. In Sanskrit, they're called chakras, and there's 7 of them in your body. And by the meditation that I walk you through, it will go through each one of those energy centers. Each one of the energy centers govern a specific part of your body, such as your bones, blood, organs, and so on. And so when we work with that, and then you call in and we connect you to your light, you will start to sense and feel tingly sensations. And you know what? If this is new to you, welcome. If you have questions about it and you're just curious, welcome. And if you're totally like, what the crap, you're welcome too. And one day you're just going to be either really excited or you're just going to click us off. And it doesn't really matter, because I know that when this conversation is meant for you, you're gonna love every second of it. And when you start to understand that our bodies, they are made up of energy. They are made up of billions of photons, and those photons are light. And when I crossed over, meaning I died 11 years ago, I was able to really master that white light, that God presence, that creator source, whatever that looks like to you. And I learned through thousands and thousands and thousands of clients and people across the world to move that energy of mine, of you, because we're all one in that white light. And then I witness people start feeling their own light. So everything that you feel and sense inside of your body today, listening to the meditation and the voice, is yours. It's yours. I clear the blocks through the conversation, and then I assist you to find your light. And that's how the sessions work. And if you have any other questions on mentoring or coaching or from any of us, then we ask you to call in and identify which one of us you're asking the question, and then we'll be more than happy to answer it the best we can. So today we're going to go. Do you guys have anything else before we go into the quick meditation? I
do, because I have this random thought keep coming, because you said this is a random show. So This keeps coming, that somebody may need to hear this. Maybe I do. That everybody, if we could just look at everybody as they do have the best of interest, like the greater good for everyone. So it's not like someone is trying to take something from you or copy something you do. Just always know that people want the greater good for everyone. Did that make sense? I'm asking my interpreter.
Like if someone, if you know what, for me, I learned through the years that people do. I don't know if I'm getting this right, but it came to me that a lot of times I'll look or read something and I have written it like a year ago, and I think what probably a year ago I would have thought of it differently, but now I'm like, wow, to be somebody repeat what I do means it's working. They saw it working in my field. They saw it working in evolving. Wow, what an honor that is to influence somebody so much that they're doing the same thing that I am doing.
That's good.
Yeah. Well, and I think as you become more aware and understand that we truly are all connected.
Yes.
We should want the best for not only ourselves, but everybody else, because we are affecting ourselves by affecting others. We just are.
And that also will break a limit that you put on yourself, that there's not an abundance of people to support you. You'll lift that. You lift it right off, and you say, "I am open and I'm willing for the abundance that with 8 billion people in this world, bring it on." And because I'm only one person, how can I help all these people? And then you get to see it blossom. The one thing I encourage other workers and other people like walkers, support each other. Support each other, and really realize that everybody's doing the best they can. We don't come with a book, most of us, and even we have shamans, we have all this indigenous people that I've even went studying all this in several temples. And you know what? For individual paths, our unique experiences, they all are guidelines and guides. But man, we are on our own. We're in our own story, our own path. And when you are aligned to that greatness that you are, because you are, April, when you realize the impact that you do, and the people that you are bringing, some people may move away, but that means that's opening up for more to be with you, to support you, and I say thank you. Again, that appreciation for what you do and the people that you inspire and encourage to do great things all across the world is fabulous. Thank you.
No, you're welcome, and thank you. And when you were speaking, until the last part, when you got a little like, "Oh, that was sweet of you, thank you," I was like thinking freedom, like such freedom comes from like the words you were speaking before the real seriousness.
Yeah.
So
liberating thought is, you know what? If I have something you love and you choose to write it, you know what? Let it be, because that means that that doors are going to open up, and I trust that the energy is there, because especially if you know you're the original one that wrote it, then you also get the support from them, because creator and source and angels know. They know where the energy came from. They know where that inspiration came from, and guess what? You're going to feel it no matter what.
Well, what better way to be than to give? And the more people we can give to, the more people that we can bring help or understanding or healing and all the things that you guys and we do as a group. That's what we're after, right? That's what we want.
And again, right now in my head is love and support. I'm hearing a message from the angels saying 2020 is about supporting each other. We all have an angelic expression of an angelic energy. We all have spirit that moves through us. We are that, and it's saying support each other. There is no competition in heaven. There is no competition in consciousness, and there's only resistance. And when you're resisting each other, you're resisting what you fully can be. So you're hurting yourself. You have potential that's ridiculous, but when you're sending out a vibration of competition or a lack of, guess what is going to come back at you? That. Because you push against the universe, and it's going to push back. And that is what you're breathing through every single day of your entire existence here. You're breathing in consciousness and universe into those lungs that you get to now realize that you're the source of creation, creative, beautiful, and supportive. And this 2020 is about creating beauty in what you've already created, because you're only given things. You're giving things, experiences that don't work and that you see that you don't want in your life, to show you what you do want. So focus on what you do want. Focus on uniting with each other and creating a safe space for people to grow together. You're stronger together. That is just the fundamental of unity.
That was truth if I ever heard truth. Thank you.
You're welcome. Did I take a breath on that one?
You did.
I trust I did last week. I was blue when I went home. I'm like, I don't know what just happened. I was being.
We gave you oxygen after you were a good shape. The other thing I think we should point out is that's important when you were talking. What came to me is, the universe is a natural thing. The universe, God, whatever you want to call it, it will push back as exactly as hard as you push it. The more you try to control, the more you try to push, the harder you do, it will push back with the same force. And so many of us forget if we would just let go, everything would be fine, right? Exactly. Stop pushing. But we wake up every morning and we think we've got to control this day. And there truly is no control. There is just resistance. And the resistance is equal to the force we give it. That's a scientific proof, by the way.
Yes, it is. And I invite you to look at these desires that each one of you are thriving to. These desires that are burning inside of you, and you're saying, I want this, I figured out what I don't want, I want this, but yet you're trying to get that out of the place that's not working without making any movement to create a better self, a better experience inside of yourself, a better energy or a more profound energy. And so you just keep having all these ideas of what you want, but you're stuck into a place that you're unwilling to move your own energy or to, and maybe some of you are willing, but the biggest resistance is the willingness. You're starting to get in the momentum of your desires, and some of you don't even know what that is, but that's okay because you're moving forward. However, you're trying to manifest that out of this place that you haven't quite figured out yet. So I invite you to step in that place, and
don't be afraid. I think people don't do it because they're afraid, right? They just don't know. That's the unknown. Mm-hmm. That's why I love to say, don't be afraid of the unknown. That's the only place new things can happen. You should look forward to the unknown, right?
Yeah, that's where creation is the no thing. You're the source of creation. Don't be afraid of yourself to create.
Right.
And I like what Will said about just do the feel list. So just be like, ooh, how do I want to feel today? Do I want to feel like a crappy person? Well, I mean, that's weird. You're probably not going to want to put that on your feel list. You're probably going to be like, ooh, I want to feel excitement. Ooh, I want to feel fun. You can laugh at me.
I
want to feel silly.
You probably don't want to put that on your crappy list. Put it on, create a feel good list. No,
I want to have a feel good list. So
Right,
one day
exactly.
when you hear me talk about it, you could be bitter and be like, "Oh, that was my idea." I'm kidding. When
I
I
already
stole
said
it from
wasn't
you,
my idea.
I'm just letting you know I'm going to steal that from you.
I think everybody should.
No, it really is good. I like it. I
But
do.
imagine you have an even if it's not original, if it an original or if a not original idea, and people want expand on it with you is the best, because when
Yes.
you're together, you can feel a support system that is very expansive. But if you see somebody that's kind of going out on their own doing your thing, you're just like,
It's okay.
yeah. Trust that it's coming back tenfold, because spirit knows. And
Well, and we can't reach everybody. So when everyone goes on their own journeys, no matter what it is, they're going to reach people that you would have never reached, because we all have our own circle of influence, and yours isn't the same. Some could be collectively the same in general. You have yours, I have mine, and it'll never be the same. So even better if we could take each other's stuff and get it to our people, because even though we're all collectively together and we're connected like light beings, still we have those circle of influence, because still we are
Well, we
living
all
in
run
this
at different
world.
frequencies.
Right.
You know, and you're good. Like attracts like. My frequency will attract people in my frequency, and vice versa. So,
And you know,
We
the
want to
higher,
do that.
the more profound. Let's use profound. I like the word profound. The more profound your energy is, the more and you walk into a room, people will raise to it, and either you lower or you raise. But you know that you're in a profound energy of you're in joy, you're in love with life. And sometimes you go into these places and you go down with you're not you lower your frequency. Don't do that. Go in and be that enjoy, be that energy, and see people rise, because that is the fundamental energy that will happen. And sometimes it takes practice to not let others' energies influence you, especially if you're in a room of 50 and you're the one with that profound energy that you practiced. Not that you're more important or you're more special. That is not what I'm saying. I'm saying that you're in a profound energy of love because you have practiced this, and you deserve for people to witness it, and they deserve you.
Yeah.
So we only have like 8 minutes, so we are going to flow right into the quick meditation, and then we will see how much time we have. So I'm going to invite you all to go into a relaxation space. If you're driving, then you can click off and come back in a little bit. Go in. I'm going to invite you to sit back and relax and set an intention. Set an intention, even if it's just one word for right now. Set an intention, a word that will propel you forward in your journey. I'm going to invite you to breathe deep within inside of your soul, a really deep, deep belly breath. And as this is happening, imagine a white light flowing around the top of your head, moving down the core of your body, right into Mother Earth. And in this heart core of Mother Earth is a delightful pink and purple and green. This is like a celebration of like those really pastel, beautiful colors. It's almost looking like a disco ball of funness, of joy. I'm giving you permission. Some people need permission to breathe that energy of light, of happiness, of celebration. Breathe it up through the ground into the bottom of your feet. Really move that into each energy center. And in this rainbow spectrum, this ball of light is the perfect frequency for you at this time. Imagine that beautiful ball of light going to a part of your body that feels heavy, feels empty, and really fill it up with the love of Mother Earth, the nurturing of that divine feminine. Breathe it into that space of emptiness or heaviness, and breathe out anything that doesn't serve you. and witness this beautiful ball of light in your heart spinning and spinning and spinning, calling up more information, more love, more light from Mother Earth. As you imagine, feel, sense, or know the white light is increasing from above your head, settling into that heart space, that soulful self, where you are going to explode in joy. In joy. Life is about living. It is about loving. And your purpose is love. Be love. Know love. Express love. The reason we are here on this earth is to experience love and connection. And as your heart is exploding in this simple knowing, anything that comes your way, ask yourself in this heart space of unfailing love, is this truth? Does this feel good? And if not, give yourself permission to say, no, thank you. And as this energy moves quickly up and down your body, you're going to feel an acceleration of light. Oh, the shadow work is being brought forth and out into the energy fields to be dissolved. The toxins in your body is being dissolved through the white light, which the white light holds all the spectrum of light hitting anything that doesn't serve you any longer. Take a deep breath in and bring in the trees and put your feet, imagine your feet on like squishy sand and rocks. Ground yourself back into this earth, time, space reality. And I am going to send you home with a blessing of joy beyond belief. What was that laugh about? I'm not sure, but welcome back. So, that was a fast meditation, fast grounding. You can do that anytime. And for you that I felt a little crazy comments in my head, and you know what? Embrace the crazy side, because that is what keeps you alive. I mean, to do new things, you have to feel a little bit crazy sometimes, and then one day you'll realize that interesting, fun part of you that is learning about chakras, that is connecting to something that you don't see, but you know because you can feel it so intently. Just like when you pick up that 5G phone and you push an email and it emails you back, you trust that 5G pole that's sending this energy you can't see. Guess what? When you tune into your body frequency, when you tune into that heart space that we just tuned you into, you will be receiving the messages that work for you to propel you into this most amazing experience called life here on earth. And you get to create beautiful things out of whatever you have. There's so many different people in different areas and different expressions of their life. But guess what? Find one thing that is so beautiful inside yourself today, even if it's just one thing. If you have 1,000 things you can write, I encourage that, and I would read them all. If you send it to me, I will read them, and I will send love to you. And even if it's just one, I will send so much love to that, and I can feel someone just did. So thank you. I would love that email back.
That was me. I was thinking, I'm going to send you 1,000 like every day. Bam, bam. And then you'll be like, that's enough. I'm just kidding.
I'll keep sending a lot of blessings. So all of a sudden you're going to have this, you're going to be lit up like a Christmas tree with a blessing every day.
I can't wait to see that.
I know.
Me too. I hope it's like bright, sparkly.
It's be like the Griswold Christmas.
Wow.
That's
right.
fun.
Yeah.
It's all about joy.
It is.
So our shows are every Wednesday at 4 o'clock, and we are, again, in appreciation, and we invite people to call in. I did realize the second half went quite fast, and so I did not even look over at the call log. So next week we will do that a little differently, and I'll put the light over towards me. So again, I thank you, the appreciation of supporting us each week, listening to our conversations that sometimes have a topic, sometimes they don't, but yet they go all over anywhere. But I can always re-listen and know that we touch so many different hearts. And when people share what we say or what they heard, it's different. I can have like 20 people email me or reach out or come to our gatherings, and they have a different experience of what they felt and heard. And so it's very, very beautiful. But I am Nicole Ashton, and you can reach me at energyhealingbydesign.com or follow me on Facebook, Nicole Ashton. And you are?
April Betty, handshealinghearts.com, and April Betty on Facebook.
Will Miller and liveawaregroup.org, and also Live Aware Group on Facebook. So
we're super excited for you all to join us. And again, I'm Nicole Ashton at energyhealingbydesign.com. And we will be having a meeting on Wednesday, January 6th. It is very limited. So if you want to jump on Facebook or call me or my team at 435-319-0951, there is going to be a channel and a healing gathering again on February 6th.
7 o'clock.
7 o'clock. Have the most amazing week.
You've been listening to Return to Consciousness with your host, Nicole Ashton, creator of Energy Healing by Design, a world-renowned healer and luminary whose life-after-death experience has allowed her the gift of empowering people around the globe to heal and grow in their true authentic space. For audio and or video of this, go to Facebook or YouTube, Podbean or Spotify, and search Radio St. George or radiostgeorge.com. We invite you back next Wednesday at 4 o'clock for Return to Consciousness with Nicole Ashton on Radio St. George 100.3 FM.
KDXI St. George.